The reason, the motivation for starting an airline determines everything. The CEO consultant that Museveni is hiring from Ethiopia, he's been working on a different arrangement, completely different from Uganda, where every decision is taken by either Museveni or his son or their handlers like Andrew Mwenda. Because Mwenda spoke about the appointment of this Ethiopian even before it was announced. Ethiopia as a country is both militaristic and socialist. People don't work for salary in Ethiopia, they work for the country. That's why Ethiopian Airlines has remained the only profit-making airline in Africa. Look, the service they offer is a very basic service. The food they give you, you can't compare to what Uganda Airline is giving. So Museveni and all of us must understand why we are reviving and starting this airline. In the Middle East, in the Gulf, the airline is part of their luxury. They want to bring more traffic in their country. And the target, therefore, if you're going to run Emirates or Qatar, will be how many passengers do you bring in our country, either as traders or as tourists. And that's why the services they offer, very luxurious. I have traveled using American Airlines, Europeans. With the Americans, they give you a blanket if you are on a long journey. If you pull it towards your leg, the head remains in the open. But if you are in a Qatar Airways, they will make for you a bed as if you are at home, because theirs is luxury to bring people into their country. They don't care about the profit. So that's a decision we must take first. The trouble with the Bamutraki is that we are making too many losses. But did we know how much loss we are going to make before starting the airline and before appointing Bamutraki? Did we know? Did anyone ever tell Uganda that this will be a loss-making company? And then we begin judging that in our estimation this was supposed to be a 2 billion loss-making company every year. All those assessments needed to have been done. They were never done. Museveni just woke up like Idi Amin because he wanted to fly somewhere. That airline of his, the jet, was not in good condition. So he started by asking Ethiopia to lend him one aircraft. They said they are all committed. He asked Ruto, Kenya sent him one. He got angry and he said, now I am starting airline tomorrow. Same style like Idi Amin. No visibility study. Go back to what Mwakanizi said as a Secretary to the Treasury. They all opposed to the restarting of Uganda Airlines because it will require money every year to run it for many, many years. That airline will never make profit even if they bring an angel to run it. Even you must understand that Museveni is a problem himself. There are many things he has failed in Uganda. Why doesn't he bring an Ethiopian to be a president? First of all, even Uganda as a country, that you don't see any manager, someone with competence. They run Stanbic here, one of the most profitable banks in Uganda. At one time, you had someone running Airtel, MTN, and big companies. Why does Museveni think that he must bring an Ethiopian? And you need to understand Ethiopia. I've been in Ethiopia many times. They have grown. That airline remained the only functional company, even when Ethiopia as a country collapsed. Why? It's a source of pride. The people working in it don't take money out of it. So Museveni acts arbitrarily. So when were the adverts done? Does anyone know the target of this new Ethiopian? What is his target upon which you are going to judge him? Is it traffic? Is it money? Is it buying of aircraft? So what is the target for which Ugandans should on day one begin evaluating this Ethiopian? Or it's just business as usual. You just bring in one person, he fails, you now go to Cairo and bring an Egyptian, he fails, you go to London and bring a Muzungu. I want to start with the target. What were the targets when Museveni was hand-picking? Because I have told you, all the airlines in Africa loss-making. Did we know how much loss we will make by reviving the Uganda airline? So if you are judging Bamutraki emotionally, you're going to make the same mistakes. Because there are people who think when you bring an Ethiopian, Uganda airline will be making profits. That Kenya airline, Ruto was in America, the president of Kenya, looking for a buyer. Nobody wants to buy it. So airline is not a profitable business. You only benefit from an airline by tourism and trade. So even before we evaluate Bamutraki and the money and the corruption, is Uganda Airline the only corrupt company in Uganda that oh, this is something that is unheard of in Uganda. All the companies under Museveni, whether it is ministers or MPs, they are all looking for money. So maybe now that's why he wants to hire people from outside, and I hope he can begin by hiring a president. In a business, salaries are supposed to be determined by the output. If I bring a CEO from wherever and then give him targets, because many CEOs earn by bonuses. If I'm going to give you a target of reducing losses, if you have been making losses of 200 billion and you reduce them by 100, why shouldn't I give you $1 billion shilling from the beginning? For me, it is the target that you determine the salary and the output. Even if you take no salary, but the company continues being mismanaged, there is no value in it. So the value is measured against targets.